Hello and welcome to Analysis with me, Oyin Adekunle. Now, barely a week after President Muhammadu Buhari's engagement with the service chiefs, suspected bandits have launched a bold attack on the country's foremost military university, the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, in Kaduna State, killing 2 military officers and kidnapping another. The Academy Public Relations Officer, Major Bashir Jajira, in a statement released shortly after the incident, said the security architecture of the NDA was compromised by unknown gunmen who gained access into the residential area within the academy. Now, the military institution is located in Afaka, which of course should ring a bell. Now, some time ago in March, bandits also struck at the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization in the same Afaka, where 39 students were abducted. Joining me now to discuss more on the attack on the Nigeria Defense Academy is Dr. Undo Uwokolo, a partner and chief executive at Next Year Security, Peace and Development, an international development consulting firm. Thank you very much, Mr. Uwokolo, for joining us on the program. Now, this is a military zone, if we can call it that, and now I'm in the NDA, and you would have expected, or you wouldn't have expected, such access. Now, how did you receive the news of this particular attack?
Thank you, Ian. I think you might even go far by saying that Kaduna, if I'm right, has the highest concentration of military institutions in the country. So with what is happening in Kaduna, the boldness shown by these terrorists to be attacking state institutions, to be attacking citizens who live in places where they should feel safe, means that we have a lot to worry about. So the attack by these terrorists on Nigeria's foremost military training academy is something that should be worrisome to every Nigerian and to the government of the day. More importantly is the fact that this is an institution that was built in 1964 and has trained all our military officers, top military officers till date. So we should all know that based on every other thing, it should have all the equipment, all the intelligence, all the military materials that they should have in that area to make sure that surveillance is not something that should be called to question. So it's important for us to worry about what is happening. Like I did say when I heard about it, I questioned the issue of governance from all ramifications. And if you look at what has just happened, it shows that, the state need to wake up and smell the coffee and stop believing that the non-state actors cannot overpower the state. If we take, for instance,
now, does this kind of attack send, to the government, to Nigerians, and also to the international community?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
I said, what kind of signal does this kind of attack send to the federal government, to Nigerians, and also to the international community?
The signal is telling us is that, we are not doing much in the area of security. That's what it shows.
But can we really say that? Can we really say that we are not doing much?
Now remember that people look at security only from one aspect. We look at security only from the kinetic one, from bullet and guns. No, it's more than that. Even before this happened, it shows that we have an intelligence that is not working. This wasn't planned in a day. It wasn't planned in a day. It was planned over a while. And moreover, it shows that even within the ranks of our military, there's infiltration. Because how did they know where to attack? How did they know the time to attack? How did they know that, like people are coming to say probably the people who were manning the CCTV were sleeping? How did they know that they would be sleeping at that time? It shows that It shows that they are even working more than we are working. They are doing more work than we are doing. So it means that we need to wake up and start doing a lot. There is more to this that meets the eye. So Nigeria need to wake up. Those who are in charge of our security need to wake up. So now remember, like what I said, that why should it be Kaduna? Kaduna, where you have you have one mechanized brigade, you have other military establishments, and this is happening. Can you not compare it to other states where you don't have any military establishment? So it's important that Nigeria start looking at what is happening to us. For me, this has a more of even a political dimension than the military dimension that we're looking at it. So it's important that we look at what is happening to us.
And so why would you think that Kaduna State will be particularly targeted? Because we know that Kaduna has been in the face of these attacks in recent months. Now, why is the Kaduna situation peculiar? Why is this happening, these sustained attacks? Why are we seeing them in Kaduna State?
Now, remember, which I know every Nigerian knows, among the states in the country, Kaduna is very peculiar. Not only that, it used to be the former capital of the northern region. You know, every who is who in Nigeria from the north have a house in Kaduna, has a business in Kaduna, or has an affiliation with Kaduna. That's one. Two, Kaduna is almost like a representation of Nigeria. It's multi-ethnic, it's multicultural, it's multi-religious and all that. So with that, you could see that Kaduna is a representation of Nigeria. You can use Kaduna to understand Nigeria as a country. So if you have a state that lacks inclusivity, if you have a state where some people feel, oh, we are left out, if you have a state where some people feel will be marginalized, if you have a state where people feel governance is an issue, you know, if you have a state where people feel we're not being carried along, this is what you can be seeing. So no matter how you work as a government, you should always remember that not every issue is settled economically. Not every issue is settled because you have a plan to it. There should be other people that could be involved. That's why when analysis are being done, issues of political settlement are brought in. Why are political settlement brought in? Political settlement are brought in because there are other people whose opinion could matter in what you want to do. So I think that is why I said that this has a political implication. It has a political implication to all that we're having in Nigeria. Now remember, this is a country with a lot of fault lines. Fault lines in the sense that we are multi-ethnic, we are multi-religious, we are multicultural. These things need to put in perspective. So this is exactly what you are seeing in Kaduna. So because you're seeing it in Kaduna, this is how it is being represented in every part of the country. And until we have a political leadership, until we have our political elites coming together to say, we need to make this country to work. That is the only way you can have these issues of insecurity being solved. Because let's be honest, the military is just an institution of the state. So if the state is not able to solve its problem, the military cannot solve all the problems in the country. So insecurity is just a microsome of the problems we have in the country. So it's important that we understand all this.
And lastly now, Mr. Nwokolo, let me just take you on the president's response to this attack. I mean, he said rather than discourage the armed forces or dampen their morale, this will spur them to end criminality in the country. I mean, as I said earlier, it would be rather unfair to say that the Nigerian armed forces are actually not doing enough to contain this situation. But let's take the president's response now. Do you also see the situation as that this will not dampen the morale of the armed forces, it will help them or spur them to end insecurity in the country?
Without disagreeing with the president, but I think his argument is more political than than what I expected him to say. I want to be very honest about what is happening in the country. The military, the guys you're referring to at the military, are first Nigerians. So if the state is not working, they cannot do much. They can do what they can do. So that's important for us to understand. Now, if you have a country where there is division in every aspect of our life, if you have a country where people want to go back to their ethnic enclave than fight as a Nigerian, so why would you think it will spawn a military man from another part of the country to want to give his life? It's important for us to understand that we have a problem in the country, and this problem can be solved politically than any other angle we want to go. For us to solve this problem, I think that we need a political elite that comes together. If our elite can come together to start looking at our issues, that's the only way we can solve this problem. So just like we are struggling with every aspect of our governance, security is just one aspect of it, and the only way we can solve it is we have our elite coming together to believe in the country and want to solve this problem. Otherwise, we'll still be running around the circle and there won't be any solution. Presently, we have military deployed in 34 out of the 36 states. So they are already overstretched, morale is low, and then as well as other intrigues that we all notice that is happening in the country in terms of appointment and retirement and all that. So these are it's equally important that we understand that these are a way of playing on the military psyche and morale. So, and these are not done by the military. These are the part of the civilian control over the military. So, in as much as the president can come up to say, okay, that this could help them, but remember that these are first Nigerians. So they have other aspects of other issues to consider while trying to fight for the country. So it's important that as the civilians want to have control over the military, they should be sure that things are done the right way. So I think that's the only way you can start urging the military to go ahead, and then you can have a hope that things are going to work out fine.
Mr. Andrew Nwokolo, a partner and from the Nexia SPD, we thank you very much for joining us on Analysis and for sharing your thoughts with us on this very crucial matter. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take a short break here, and when we return, we'll be talking about the strike by the National Association of Resident Doctors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, resident doctors in Nigeria are not willing to shelve their strike action except and until the federal government meets all their demands pertaining to their welfare and work conditions. Since the National Association of Resident Doctors embarked on its strike action on August 2nd, all efforts to resolve the disagreement between them and the federal government and get the doctors back to work have failed. Now, subsequently, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, took the matter to the National Industrial Court, seeking an order to declare the strike illegal and enforce the no work, no pay rule. The Abuja division of the NIC has now ordered the striking doctors to go back to work. But will the doctors adhere to this? All right, joining me now on the program to discuss more on this is Dr. Oludotun Oshikoya, the spokesperson of the National Association of Resident Doctors. Dr. Oshikoya, thank you very much for joining me on the program again. I thought the next time I'll be talking to you, you probably would have called off the strike, but here we are. Now, the court has ordered your union to go back to work. So what next now?
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, it's always our prayer that we should go back to work and to go and see our patients as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it's the government that is prolonging the issue. You know, They said they signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. I don't know the essence of signing another memoranda after having Syria signing with Nigerian Medical Association, which happened to be our parent body. 48 hours after, they quickly rushed to court to seeking for injunction against us to compel us to go back to work. Unfortunately, the judgment was given that everything should remain status quo, which me and you can interpret in any way. Where the one you are hearing up and down that we should go back, that there has been, we are given an injunction, we are forced by the court to go back to court. That's interpretation from Ministry of Labor and Employment. But from our own part,
we know that the law is the law. If the court of law says return to status quo, we can't say that you get your own interpretation, the ministry gets his own interpretation.
Now, let me explain something to you. Before the ministry filed for that suit, are we not on strike already? We're already on strike already before they went to court. In fact, the strike has gone more than 5 to 6 or 7 days before they went to court. Everything remained on track. But anyway, but like we are having our emergency National Executive Council meeting at Benin to discuss the way forward. The MOU signed by NMA, at the same time, the outcome of the court judgment. So we'll look at it and then we'll meet our legal team and then we'll act accordingly. But as of now, let me just tell you, this is just showing to you that there's insincerity on the part of the government. If you want this thing to be resolved, court is not the last something. I don't think the way they are doing it is as if they are not ready to pay our salary. What we are actually asking for is not an allowance. We are asking for salary that has been worked for. Not that we are asking for extra. If government is toiling this line and they want to earn three snatch, we will leave it at the court of the public. Let people see. People are saying we are leaving our patients to suffer. It's not NAD. It's not the doctors that are making patients to suffer. It's the government. Because if they are sick, come on to take, they'll go out there. They will travel to US, UK, Dubai. But me and you, my family and your family, we cannot leave this place. And government is not ready to do the needful. This strike will resume back is more than 3 weeks now. What have they done in the last 3 weeks? What they bring out of it is another memorandum of understanding.
So, Dr. Datu, if you say that the court is not the solution to this, or is not the way to go about it, so what exactly are you expecting from the government? Of course, you don't want them to take you to court. So what do you want them to do?
Let them pay our salary. As you are sitting down there, if they are owing you for almost 7 months, will you be able to go to work? Or is the minister of everybody working in the Ministry of Health or Ministry of Labor, are they not being paid salary every month? Do you know that in this country, when we say we don't have doctors, enough doctors, federal government is casualizing doctors in this country. We have over 1,000 doctors that is being casualized. That you are saying you are renewing their contract every month. You casualize them, at the same time, you are not paying them their salary. So what will happen next? Saudi interview is coming next week. They had one this week. What is going to happen? Mass exodus of doctors out there. People will just travel. So what's going to happen? We said there is brain drain. How are you going to stop the brain drain? You are making us to suffer. At the same time, you are victimizing us by instituting no work, no pay. You didn't pay our work we have done. You want to do no work, no pay. Is that not injustice?
And let's talk about that MOU that was signed by your parent body, the Nigerian Medical Association. I mean, at the end of that meeting with the federal government and other parties, the NAD president did say that they refused to sign the MOU because of an undisclosed clause. Now, would you just tell us what exactly was contained in that MOU that you refused, or your union refused to sign?
As I now I'm talking to her, we have not even seen the MOU because we didn't sign it. Because whatever that is there is, how will I put it? We already have an agreement before. Government didn't fulfill their part. Now you want us to come and sign another memorandum of understanding for how long? Now, the part of it is that at that meeting, the Honorable Minister for Labor and Employment says that he has given order for no work, no pay to be exact on all doctors. Is that not victimization? He said they're not going to dismiss anybody, thinking that it's just a small English. What we are actually asking for, remove this thing from court, no, stop, no work, no pay, then give us the minimum demand. What are the minimum demand? Pay our salaries, pay what that is due to us, then we'll go back to work. Now, if you want to untwist us and take us back to work, and if doctors decide maybe somebody that have not been feeding well, and the person collapse, what will happen to that person? Somebody that is being whole salary. Federal government need to do the needful. They know what to do. They should fulfill their own part of the bargain. We have agreed. Let them do it. Now they are giving us another one again. Are they going to fulfill their promise? Mind you, this strike is more than 3 weeks now. They have not done a single one out of it like this.
So in the last 3 weeks, what has your engagement with the federal government been like? What has it been about?
At least you are here. Everybody heard on news that when the Honorable Minister said he's not going to meet NAD. Even the meeting they had last week is at the instance of NMA, because it was NMA they called to meeting. They didn't invite NAD for any meeting. So they are not ready to negotiate with us.
So you're saying that you've not met with the Ministry of Labor or the minister since you engaged in the strike? Is that what you're saying in essence?
They called Nigerian Medical Association for a meeting. We were invited by Nigerian Medical Association, not Ministry of Health or Ministry of Labor.
But moving forward now, Dr. Oshikoya, where does this leave us? I mean, like you said, what many people, what Nigerians want to know, what Nigerians will talk about is the patients that are made to suffer while this lasts. So where does this leave us?
What I will employ people is to tell the government to pay us just salary, pay us our salary. And then, in fact, if you pay the salary now, we will resume back today. What's the essence of us going back to work and your salary is not being paid? And in fact, there is not even hope ahead that they are going to pay it. Because that will lead to, in some states, owing 19 months, 10 months, 6 months, 8 months, 3 months, 2 months. It will start like that. Because, in fact, there was one particular state that we even met the governor. He promised to pay 3 months before August 2nd. This is August 23rd. He has not paid 1 naira out of that 3 months. That's the kind of government we have in Nigeria. They are not truthful. Yeah, so help us to tell them to pay our salary. They will resume back to work with immediate effect.
And because you also mentioned state governors, I mean, the Minister of Labor did say that some of the demands that your union is making is directed to state governors and not the federal government. So have you also had engagements with states, let's say the Nigerian Governors Forum, for instance?
We have done all that. There are some governors that they are just, how will I put it? They just don't want to pay. I don't know what is wrong with them. Some are dictators. You see, we are using this opportunity to even tell the federal government, because we believe federal government can still tell some state government to do the needful. Because the way they are doing it, they are killing the health sector in this country. Have you ever, if you say when more than over 10,000 doctors migrated out of this country, and what's going to happen to the masses? How many are we in the country? Because all the policies, the government attitude, their insincerity, their own responsibility, and the way they are doing things will make a lot of even young doctors that are coming on board from medical school didn't want to stay in the country. Initially, before in the past, if they had a young child, what do you want to be in future career? Something, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be this. Go and ask them now, they will tell you, I don't want to be a doctor, because they know they don't pay doctor in this country very well. So are we just training doctors so that other countries will come and harvest them? Just look at it. With the situation on ground right now, look at the way government is treating the health workers. Common salary they didn't pay. How do you expect young doctors, even old doctors, are migrating? Government needs to be sincere. If you want us to work, if you want doctors to stay, give us an enable environment, pay salary at the right time and at the appropriate time. Others, like I was talking to a friend from in US, say immediately it's on the 31st or 30th of end of the month, 12 midnight, you know when to pay their paycheck because they know salary is going to enter. But we don't even know about it, and they expect you to work. And if you can look at it now, there is mass exodus, brain drain. Go to another department, discover there is only one doctor that is working in a whole department, and you expect that doctor to be working from morning to night, Monday to Friday, throughout the whole month, throughout the whole year. Only one person. The person will break down. What do you expect? At any opportunity that doctor sees, he will travel. Or somebody that is working all alone in a department, at the end of the month, no hope for his salary. What do you think will happen to the doctor next? Any opportunity you see, like even it's just Cotonou or Togo or Ghana and they pay better pay, he will move.
Well, I get the point you're making perfectly. I mean, this is a really crucial time for us. So that's the situation
we find ourselves in the country. As I'm talking to you, there are doctors being held from 3 months to 19 months in this country. And they are not talking about it. And they want you to continue to work because you are an essential worker. You are giving essential services. Those doctors, do you expect me to, okay, if I'm going to, I'll carry my car to the filling station. I'll tell them, because I'm a doctor, I'm an essential worker, please give me free fuel. I'll pay when government pay me. Or I go to any mall that want to buy food for my family. I say, because they are owing me salary, I'm an essential worker, they should give me free food. It's not done like that. All of us goes to the same market. Another example there, they have 114 house officers, young fresh graduates that are now house officers being whole salary. Do you know what the government told us? That they are just 2% now, 2%. Those 2%, are they not human beings? Some of them have families to feed. Some of them have their parents, they borrow money to send them to medical school. By the time they graduate, they expect them to do their own responsibility to the family. You are owing them salary. You are not saying they are just 2%. Can any of their children be there and they didn't pay them any salary?
Well,
that's one of the things that we are saying.
Oshikoya, like I said, I understand the point you're making perfectly, and I mean, Nigerians need doctors back at work, and we do hope that you can reach an agreement with the federal government in the shortest possible time. Thank you very much, Dr. Oludotun Oshikoya. Well, that's the much we can take on this episode of the program. I am Oyin Adekunle, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.